Okay, topic for this video is going to be two more transformations, reflections and rotations. Our essential question is going to be, how are reflections and rotations used to transform a pre-image onto an image? All right, so transformations. Transformations, once again, can be used to make changes to any geometric shape. These transformations can take pre-images and create similar or congruent images. One such transformation is a reflection. A reflection is going to be a transformation that flips a pre-image across a given line to create a congruent image. So let's say that we've got a triangle looking like this. Triangle ABC. And we want to flip it across this line. Then it's going to end up over on this side. But now it's going to look like this, right? A prime here, C prime over here, B prime there. So if we want to flip it across a line and not change anything else, so to leave it congruent but just flip it, that's a reflection. And we've got a bunch of different rules that we'll be using for these reflections. First up is the x-axis. If we want to flip something over the x-axis, our rule is going to be, we're going to keep the x the same, but we're going to flip the sign on the y. So if it was positive, now it's negative. If it was negative, it's going to go positive. To flip across the y-axis, you are going to change the x value and keep the y value the same. So if x was positive, it goes negative. If it was negative, it goes positive. If you want to flip across the line y equals x, then you are going to just swap the y and the x value. Now, in case you don't remember the line y equals x, the line y equals x is this diagonal line going this way. And then if you want to flip over the line y equals negative x, that's going to be negative y, negative x. And that line, in case you don't remember that one, that's the opposite one. Oops, that's a bad drawing. Try that again. I did it again. I just want to go through the origin. Okay, that's better. That's the opposite one going down from left to right. Okay, so with those rules in mind, let's try flipping some stuff. So first one, triangle ABC's got these points here. Let's jot all those down. So triangle ABC has A at 3, -1, B at 4, 1, and C at 4, -3. Let me plot those. 3, -1, 4, 1, and 4, -3. Let me get A to the other side so it's not in the way. So here is our triangle, and we are going to reflect this thing over the y-axis. So to flip over the y-axis, let me go back up, check my rule. My rule for the y-axis was -x, y. Now remember that the y-axis is this line. So let's start flipping some stuff. If A was 3, -1, I'm going to change the sign on the x value to -3, -1. If B was at 4, 1, now it should be at -4, 1. And if C was at 4, -3, now it should be at -4, -3. So let's plot those points, see if it looks good. -3, -1. There's A prime. negative 4, 1. There's B prime. And negative 4, negative 3. There is C prime. So we've got our image over here. And we got our pre-image over here. And that looks good. That looks like I just flipped it over there. The image is congruent, right? Nothing's distorted. Same shape, just been flipped. All right, let's keep going. So this is a reflection over the line y equals x. And we've got triangle ABC. A is at negative 4, 1. B is at negative 5, negative 4. And C is at 1, 0. Let's see what those look like. Negative 4, 1. Negative 5, negative 4. And 1, 0. So A, B, C. And we're going to reflect across the line y equals x. Now the rule, we wrote that down on the front for y equals x, is y comma x. And remember that line is this diagonal line all the way through the origin like that. So imagine we're flipping over that line. And to do this rule, all we do is swap the x and the y value. So A prime will be 1, negative 4. B prime, just switching the x and the y value, would be negative 4, negative 5. And C prime would be 0, 1. So let's plot those, see how that looks. 1, negative 4, A prime. Negative 4, negative 5, B prime, 0, 1, C prime. And that looks pretty good to me. We've got our image here, this new shape after it's been flipped over that line. And we got our pre-image over here, the original unaltered shape. Okay. Now, a few other reflections. Reflections over horizontal and vertical lines other than the x and y axis require you to graph the line of reflection. After graphing, count the distance from each point of the pre-image to the line of reflection. Plot the image the same distance away, but on the other side of the line of reflection. Okay, so check this out. Triangle ABC has 0, 4 as A, 4, 3 as B, and negative 3, negative 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 for C. Okay, so this triangle, really skinny, huh? Really skinny triangle. Determine the coordinates of the image A prime, B prime, C prime after reflection across the line y equals 2. Now y equals 2. Your horizontal and your vertical line equations, if it's a y, that is a horizontal line at the y-axis at 2. So you go to the y-axis at 2, right? Y equals 2. And then you make a horizontal line through that point. So this is my line of reflection. So we graph the line of reflection, and then we start counting the distance from the point of the pre-image to the line of reflection. So let's just start with, B over here. B is 1 unit away from the line of reflection, which means that B prime should be 1 unit away, but on the other side. So there's B prime. A is 1, 2 above, so I go 1, 2 below. And that's where A prime needs to be. C is 2 above, so I go 2 below. And that's where C prime is. So the image, the new shape, is down here. So this is my image, A prime, B prime, C prime. And now it is reflected over that other horizontal line that I graphed in, y equals 2. There's not going to be rules for these other types of lines. You got to be able to graph them, and then you got to rely on counting to figure out how to reflect that thing. Okay, what do we have next? Rotations. Rotation is a transformation that spins a preimage across, not across a given line. That should be around a given point. Yours will say that. Mine is an old version. Around a given point to create a congruent image. So for these ones, like if I have a triangle that looks like this, and I'm going to spin it this way, then it might end up looking like this, right? It's been spun around. And we got some rules for these as well. A 90-degree counterclockwise rotation would be negative y comma x. A 180-degree counterclockwise rotation would be negative x, negative y. And 270 degrees is going to be y, negative x. Okay, so let's try a few here. Example 4. We got ABC, A is at 2, 4, B is at 2, negative 3, and C is at 4, 0. So 2, 4, 2, negative 3, 4, 0. And we're going to rotate this thing 90 degrees. Well, our rule that we just wrote down for 90 degrees is going to be negative yx. So how that's going to work, we're going to flip the x and the y value, but we're going to change the sign on the y value. So 2, 4 gets flipped to 4, 2, but we're going to change it to negative 4, 2. B prime, or B was 2, negative 3, so we're going to flip it to negative 3, 2. But we're going to change that negative 3 to a positive 3. C was 4, 0. It gets flipped to 0, 4. We change the sign from 0 to negative 0, but that doesn't change anything. So it's just 0, 4. So let's see how that looks. We get a negative 4, 2. We get a 3, 2. And we get a 0, 4. So A prime, B prime, C prime. And that looks pretty good. That looks like we spun that thing around. So here is my image after that 90-degree rotation. And there is my pre-image. Let's try one more with the 270-degree rotation here. So ABC, getting us started here. A is at negative 1, 1. B is at negative 3, 5. C is at negative 2, 2. So negative 1, 1. Negative 3, 5. And negative 2, 2. Real strange little triangle here. Real skinny one there. And what are we doing here? We're rotating this thing 270 degrees. So 270 is going to be the rule y negative x. And how that's going to work is we flip the x and the y value, we change the sign on the x value. So negative 1, 1 becomes 1, negative 1, change the sign on the x value to 1, positive 1. B prime, B was negative 3, 5, so it goes to 5, negative 3, but we change that sign on the x value to 5, positive 3. And C prime was negative 2, 2. We flip it to 2, negative 2. We change the sign on the x value to 2, positive 2. So 1, 1, 5, 3, and 2, 2. Okay. So it should look like that, which looks pretty good. Oh my goodness, I mislabeled my original points, didn't I? Yeah, I had B and C switched. That top one was supposed to be B, and this one was supposed to be C. Now it looks a lot better. So our new shape, our new image, is this one over in quadrant 1. And the original one is over here. And that thing got spun around 270 degrees all the way back around. Okay, so your turn. You've got a reflection and a rotation to try. So give those a shot. Make sure you're referring back to that, back to your notes to make sure you're using the right rules. And come back when you're ready to check to see how you did. All right, so triangle ABC had 3, 4, 2, negative 5, and 5, 1. And we were going to try to do y negative x, which was negative y negative x. That was the rule. We get these things graphed here. 3, 4, 2, negative 5, and 5, 1. And by using that rule, we're going to flip things around and change all the signs. So 3, 4 is going to become negative 4, negative 3. 2, negative 5 is going to become positive 5, negative 2. And 5, 1 is going to become negative 1, negative 5. And that line, just to make sure we're clear, the line we're flipping over is this guy, going from the top left to the bottom right. So let's see if this looks good when we do it. Negative 4, negative 3. It's down here. That's A prime. 5, negative 2 is down here. That's B prime. And then negative 1, negative 5 is down here. That is C prime. So how does this look? That looks pretty good to me. It looks like we flipped everything right around. So that should be how your final image looked. And then we got a rotation of 180 degrees here. Triangle ABC getting us started. We got -5, -2. We got -2, -3. And we've got 0, 2. -5, -2, -2, -3, 0, 2. Okay, and we're going to rotate this thing 180 degrees. The rule for that was -x, -y. Just change all the signs. So A prime should be at +5, +2. B prime should be at +2, +3. And C prime should be at 0, -2. So +5, +2, +2, +3, 0, -2. So A prime, B prime, C prime. And that should be how it looked after you rotated that thing 180 degrees. That's going to wrap up this video. I hope it went good for y'all.